GSL Code A is as awesome as ever. It's time for Bbyong versus Leenock. It's going to be a tough match for Bbyong if statistics are any indication.
Exactly. If statistics don't lie, then Bbyong will have a very tough time here. Bbyong is really struggling in this matchup. With only 13 games played, he has a 38% win ratio. We'll talk about the statistics for him a little bit more in detail later on. There's a lot to talk about. But first of all, here, once again, a little bit of a view of what we are going to see like next week. Yonghwa won against Trader, and therefore he will face the winner of our next match.
Yep, he's going to face the winner indeed. So our bracket is as close together as it could be here. I mean, literally these back-to-back matches are going to decide things. You can see Leenock has played a ton of GSL games there. Way more than Bbyong, has only played 13 in total.
Such a veteran. Leenock is such a beast, and he is up against Bbyong. A Zerg versus Terran, a great matchup for Leenock. He really shines against Terran. It's his best matchup.
It really is. And Leenock is a player whose multitasking, his creep spread, and his decision-making are all so good. And in this matchup against Terran, he's so unpredictable. He's a very dangerous opponent.
Yeah, he definitely is. He has a lot of experience, and Bbyong has to be very careful how he approaches this. Bbyong himself was able in the first round to take out Finale, a Protoss player. And this is one of those matchups where he is actually really good. It's his best matchup. He has a 63% win ratio against Protoss. Against Zerg, he's struggling a little bit, and he has to overcome this weakness today. He's playing on a killer flats, adjusting his seat.
Yep. Nicely done. Leenock was able to get this far. I mean, look at his career. Like, I say nicely done just because, I mean, just looking back at Wings of Liberty for Leenock, this has been a pretty good game for him, and this could be his last game in Wings of Liberty. We'll have to find out.
Yeah. Can Bbyong turn things around here? We have the first game ahead of us. In this series, Bbyong definitely the underdog here, even though he's a strong Terran player. In this matchup, he's struggling a little bit, but he might be able to overcome this problem and take out Leenock here, advance to the third round, and then face Yonghwa. The game is going to be live in just a few seconds. We are jumping into the match as I speak. This is the GSL Code A, guys. This is the second round. This is Leenock versus Bbyong, brought to you by Cullen Wolf. Our Terran player starts to the bottom right of the map. For Kiln Flats, in red we have
This guy has been improving rapidly. One of the better Kesper players to switch over.
He definitely has. He's facing a very strong opponent though. Even though he's born on the 1st of April, this guy is no April Fool's joke. This is
FXO Leenock.
That's an interesting Leenock fact I didn't know.
Yeah, I actually saw that earlier. I didn't know that up to that point, and I was a little bit surprised. But yeah, Leenock, let's talk a little bit about this matchup and why this is going to be a tough game for Bbyong. For Leenock, this is his best matchup. He has a 61% win ratio. He played nearly 240 games in this particular matchup on televised matches. The last opponents that he faced were in Code S, TY. He took him out with a 2-0. He was able to win against Ganzi and Iron Squid. He took out MVP in the Blizzard Cup with a 2-0. Won against Lucifron at the Rhythmic season with a 3-1. He defeated opponents throughout the last 3 months against Terran. He is such a monster.
You know, he, in that series against TY, for example, showed some really unique play. Leenock is the type of player who, if you 2-racks him and kill his expansion, he will actually pull one base and festers out and go counterattack you and end up catching up and winning the game. That's the type of player that Leenock is.
Exactly, that's how strong he is. And Bbyong, on the other hand, the Terran player is playing in his weakest matchup. He definitely doesn't have the amount of experience Leenock has. He only played 14 games, so we have a very small sample size. But it's already a bit of an indicator here that he has only a 38% win ratio in this matchup. And if you go down his match history, you see that he just recently lost in Pro League against Stefano. He lost to DRG in the up and downs, and in the same up and downs he also lost to Symbol. He was not successful against Zero in Pro League, lost to Savage, lost to J-Dong. And the last game that he actually won, that was back in December against Nestea. That was in the last season of Code A.
Yes.
And this was a very close match that he barely won with a 2-1.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And ST threw that game away, really. I mean, that's a game where he was actually really ahead, and Bbyong was able to just barely fight his way back through. But, you know, looking in this game right now, I'm wondering one particular thing is, what is Leenock going to do when he reaches 100 gas? Because he is the type to be aggressive. He may pull out for a little while and then decide to go back in there and get some more gas, or he could just leave in and go for a very fast tag. It's a little bit less likely, but it's not something I would put past Leenock. He is one of the most aggressive players you could ever find.
One thing that you can really be sure of is that Joya is looking at all the games that Bbyong played, that he helps Leenock a lot preparing for this. And you're so right, Leenock, he is one of those players that will prepare for an opponent. We saw that against a lot of them. Slow ling attacks against MC, this is something that we've seen from Leenock as well as from Roro. And right now Leenock is going into the speed.
Yeah.
So with the speed upgrade, he definitely has the potential for aggression.
He has... Still, he's mined now 200 gas, and he's not stopping. He's never pulled his workers out. This lends itself to definitely aggression. The question is what type. He's making 3 more drones right now, and Bbyong doesn't have any information about this.
Ooh, Leia at 5 minutes for Leenock after speed. Look at that on 2 bases. This is really interesting.
He's done this really fast Mutalist build before. We saw it in Iron Squid in the qualifiers. Yep. He was not able to qualify for the tournament, but at the same time he showed great Mutalist timings that really threw Terran players off on 2-player maps like this.
The speed will help him to defend against Marine pressure and also against Hellions as long as he spreads his creep so that he gets the speed advantage. If he's able to deny scouting, then this will be great for him. The question now remains, what exactly is Bbyong gonna do? Because if Bbyong starts with a really strong attack, then he could do a lot of damage to Leenock, but it looks more like Bbyong is going to go into a later...
Yeah, and he's powering up a lot of Marines, so by the time Leenock gets there, yeah, he's not going to have Stim necessarily if the Egos for Mutas, but he will have a decent amount of Marines that he can use to defend. It's not going to be a mech play, it's not going to be a heavy Hellion play where he has a 3rd command center and very few Marines to defend. Lair's finishing up here, and I think we're going to see the Spire right away. There it is.
The thing is, if Leenock goes now for Mutalists and Bbyong gives him the time to get them, you're certainly right. He has the Marines to defend against this. But the problem is going to be that he will have to use a lot of Stim to catch up with the Mutalists. They are a lot faster than Marines, and without Medivacs, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, he hasn't even started Stim yet either.
One of the things that could help Bbyong is if he goes for a push with Marines and Hellions. But right now we are looking at 14 Marines. He's still producing them, and he has the production capabilities. But the Baneling Nest for Leenock, this is what he needs here, and this is going to help him so much if there is aggression.
You know, he certainly could go for that aggression because he doesn't have any add-ons, he's not getting Stim, he's moving across the map now.
He's doing it.
So this is going to be why that Baneling Nest is made for Leenock, but he needs to see this as soon as possible, and he doesn't have anything to spot. The watchtowers are gone on the map. He's not going to see this until they get to the Queen.
That is definitely intentional. This timing for him is really intentional. The creep tumor is safe. Very important here. The creep spread is so crucial in this scenario. And look at the Baneling Nest timing. This is perfect. The only thing that Leenock has to do is now get those Banelings out.
He needs to start them right now. He's seen the Marines. They're on the creep. He needs to start those Banelings immediately here. He wants to start Mutas. He wants to save his gas, but he needs to make Banelings so he doesn't die here. 4 Banelings.
The Mutas don't help him. He needs Banelings first.
Exactly. The Banelings keep him alive. Then he follows up with Mutas after he crushes this force. But can he crush it? The Banelings are going to be ready in time, I feel.
He's trying to buy time, but there are not a lot of them. There are only 4.
And he needs to get behind those units so he can connect with the Banelings. Decent hit there.
Wow.
But there's still a few units, but the Queen should be able to push this back until the rest of the units are out. He starts the Mutas now.
3 Queens and the follow-up with the Zerglings. That's going to be enough to throw Bbyong back.
Yeah, Bbyong is in trouble now. He does have the E-base to start the turrets, as you should realize at this moment in time that this is what's coming. He needs to start those turrets right away, because if he doesn't have those turrets up, he is going to take devastating losses.
I don't really think that he knows what's coming. I'm not quite sure what he assumes that Leenock is doing on 2 bases. Maybe Infestor into 3rd base. But he should at least try to drop a scan, because this is a little bit suspicious. Without a 3rd base,
he scans the main, but he doesn't see anything.
Where's the Spire? At the natural,
it's at the natural, yeah, right behind the minerals, so he's not able to see that.
He saw them, though. He saw now with one of the Hellions, he saw the Mutalists, but they are in a position where they can at least do damage.
He's going to pick up these Marines. There they go. The Marines trying to get in the bunker. He will get 3 of them in there.
There is no Stim, once again. Very important here. He can't Stim in, but he has so many of them that this is not going to matter. But Leenock now bought himself the map control, which he can use for the 3rd base and for his tech. He currently dominates this mid-game, this early mid-game.
Yeah. The worker count isn't his favorite, 53 to 51, but Bbyong not missing a beat with that 3rd command center he has. Not too far behind in workers. He's going to have to defend against these Mutas in any way he can, though. For example, losing this depot is going to really hurt him. Losing that Marauder is a slight annoyance as well. Even the bounce damage is starting to annoy those Marines with no medevacs out just yet. The first one...
close! And the depot burns down.
That supply blocks him, in fact. The upgrades for Bbyong are actually better as well right now. He's getting 1-1 way ahead of Leenock, and he will have that stem. Oh, the Leenock Baneling trap. This is what he's known for. He's trying to bait the Marines in.
This is so Leenock.
Oh, wow. This could actually work. Oh, wow. Oh, great Baneling hit there. That was perfect. And now he can even try to pick up more of those Marines. He wants to play it safe.
If I was a Terran player, I would hate to face Leenock. This guy is so annoying.
I would probably break my mouse after facing him a few times.
It's just like he always finds something that he can exploit, and this was just such a beautiful trap. That was so well executed, and look how heavily he's now committing to the Mutalisk.
He's even trying to bait him again. He's trying to do it again, but I think Bbyong is at this point saying, well, this is a bit too obvious.
He actually sees it, but
yeah, he sees it, but he can't do anything really. Does he not see it? Yeah, I mean,
must have seen it.
He doesn't know exactly where they are, so he can't really fight the Muse. This is just too obvious, Leenock.
Yeah, but the thing is, they give him
there
safety.
He goes.
You know, he forces a scan, and they give him, the Banelings give him the safety to dart in, do a bit of damage, and then bounce back.
Really nice zoning by Leenock. He even has a Burrowed Ling here to stop this command center, which is going to force another scan, which is why he hasn't used that scan just yet. So Leenock takes map control. Well, he holds on to it, really. He's had it for some time now.
You know, with 50 Mutalisks, he can actually try to take down one of those towers.
Ooh. He decides to fight these Marines instead.
Easy.
He could go for the eBay. Here we go. He's picking away at it. I don't think he'll get it, but he's going to force a repair.
If he kills those eBays, think about what that means for the upgrades for Bbyong. They will be so late.
Bbyong wants to trap him, but the thing is, he's not leaving. He's not going to leave until he has to.
He sees
nice control by Leenock. He's going to go back into the main, and now with these Bioforces not here, he could actually stick around and do more.
Think about how many stims he already forced.
There's no turret, really. There's only one turret in the mineral line of the main. He could even do more, but he doesn't realize that.
A drop attempt to the top left, immediately shut down by Leenock. He has units everywhere in the map, and he is even further committing to Mutalisks now.
Yeah, Leenock has been doing this since the early days. This has been his style, even back in the days against Clyde, just going heavy Mutalisk. He's going up to 24. That's what he's going to have. He's got +2 already halfway done.
2 of those Mutalisks have a death wish.
Yep, that was a bit overzealous, but now he will clean this up with Lings. Nice micro on that last mute, and now he can pick off the drop.
Yeah. Now he gets the drop, but 2 of those Mutalisks were really eager to start the fight.
Yeah, they certainly were. Bbyong is down 50 supply now, though, and he does have his third base up. His upgrades are still going strong.
You know, the Mutalisks of Leenock are like these small black flies that you have in Australia and New Zealand that always poke at you and you never can kill them. There are also so many of them that you just can't get rid of them.
Yeah, I know. I know the feeling, man.
That's exactly what we see here. Or like Korean mosquitoes. It's basically the same. Every single time you kill one, 2 more pop up.
Oh man, I've actually been thinking about the summer a lot recently, getting a little bit excited. But now that you mentioned that, I'm like, no, winter is fine. Winter is okay.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of the Korean winter. There's no advantage to dealing with Mutalisks like Bbyong tries to do because Leenock is just going to town.
He's got way too many units. You know, his siege tanks get targeted down. He can't target the Mutas because if he does, then he's gonna lose his units to the Banelings on the ground.
The Leenock is toying with his food at this point.
Yes, and those turrets are going to go down so fast, the Lings. The SCVs have nowhere to run. He can just target them down with the Mutas there, and he does. The bounce damage is insane here. He takes out every last one of the SCVs. Thor is not fashionably late. It's just plain late. He's going to be able to take out this command center as well as the refinery.
The Thor is at least here. I have to say that this is the reaction that Bbyong has to go for, but the problem is it's a little bit too late. A Mutalisk dies here, but Leenock is on 3 bases, taking a 4th.
This is a classic,
unstoppable.
This is a classic example of what Zerg can do when they get ahead on a base like this, on the 3rd base that's a little bit exposed, and he just continues the attack. The Thor is gone. There's way too much DPS on those Lings. They're about to have their upgrades.
The magic box is true, and he takes out the rest.
Yep. He dances the Lings.
He's even transitioning. He's transitioning with an infestation pit. He has the upgrades, +2/+2 on the tab, as well as the armor upgrade for those Mutalisks. This is, the game 1 is a Smackdown.
Smackdown indeed. That's it. GG.
And this is the problem that Bbyong has. He's struggling in this matchup and he is facing a master TVZ player.
Yeah.
That was not pretty.
It certainly was not. I mean, he had good upgrades, he had a nice attack timing, but Leenock was so well prepared with his Banelings. You saw just how razor thin everything was. That one Spine Claw, for example, really helped. If you didn't have that one spine, you might have been able to target the Banelings down.
The timing of the Banelingness was beautiful. He had the Banelingness just ready when those Marines were crossing the middle of the map. And it's not like Bbyong played, oh my god, he's horrible or anything. No, it's just Leenock playing on a completely different level. And it's known that Bbyong struggles in this matchup. I'm really a little bit afraid for him here. Daybreak is a map where Leenock has played countless of times in this matchup, and Bbyong has to come up with some kind of strategy that really surprises Leenock, and I don't even know if that's possible.
It's certainly going to be difficult. Daybreak is the map that is as old school as it gets. We talked about this before, you know, we might see it disappear in Heart of the Swarm, but for now it's here to stay. One of our great Wings of Liberty maps, and Leenock, one of our great Wings of Liberty Zergs. Bbyong has his work cut out for him. One loss away from finding himself in the up and downs for Heart of the Swarm. He wants to get into Kodas as soon as possible.
Leenock here is heading into match number 2, so are we. Leenock versus Bbyong at the GSL. It is the second round already. The games are brought to you by Carl and Wolf.